All right, what's up, Laker Nation? Welcome into the LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Ryan, here with my brother Matthew. We're here to talk about the Lakers' offensive focus now that we have officially drawn the Nuggets as our first round opponent. So, Matt, skip the formalities, all the stuff we kind of usually do. Just what are you thinking offensively? What's the stuff you want to see from
I think, to be honest, I feel a lot better this year than last year, and the main reason why I think is just the personnel
him?
this year compared to last year, where we had, first of all, D'Lo was just horrible. He wasn't a factor. You're adding an 18 point per game efficient, smart point guard scorer, and then Rui compared to Vando, or we had so many different lineups in that last series in 4 games. I can't even remember. But yeah, for one, we started small. We started with 3 guards, and we still couldn't really shoot well. So I think we made life easier for the Nuggets defense. This year, I truly believe we're going to make life hell for the Nuggets defense, where they're going to truly have to lock in every possession. And I think you start off very aggressive, and you make Jamal Murray have to work hard on defense. Jokic never really has to work hard. He never gets hurt. He never gets fouls. He never gets tired. He's freaking crazy. He's not a human. But yeah, I think the Nuggets are vulnerable, but they get away with it because against like pretty every team because they're so physical and also because they're so good on offense. I think all 5 of our guys are so good on offense. So if D'Lo's shooting, if Reeves is shooting, if Rui's on that hot stretch where he's shooting and can also finish inside, I think you start off aggressive and you run that pick and roll with LeBron AD because it's tough to stop.
Yeah.
And I just feel so much more confident this year compared to last year because of our personnel.
Yeah, 100%. As I was looking through, kind of getting ready right now for like what we're going to talk about. First of all, I agree with what you're saying. Not necessarily to change the subject, but I was just checking the previous matchups from this season, not even the playoffs. But this season, first of all, thought we played 4 games. We only played them 3 times. We lost all 3, obviously, but circumstances were actually interesting. One, first game of the year, ring night in Denver. Sure. Second game, D'Lo didn't even play. And then the third game, Cam Reddish played 20 minutes. And Cam Reddish actually played a lot of minutes in each of those games, and it didn't go well any of those times. Um, Essentially, my point is, like you're saying, we're more equipped to take it to them. I believed that generally, and I don't know, I felt like maybe I was coping a little bit. But then, literally, as I recognized, like, hey, Cam Reddish doesn't play basketball for the Lakers anymore. I mean, he might have to. Depending on how desperate we get, we might see him again. But in my heart, my perfect vision for the future, he's not on the court anymore. And that's 20 minutes taken away from him, reallocated to maybe Torian, definitely Gabe Vincent. Just anyway, and this isn't specifically Cam Reddish. We're not better because of Cam Reddish, but the team is good. I was worried about the matchup in the sense that I didn't really know how to explain it to myself why we're different. But then going through, we still played them as tough as we always do, but with just compromised lineups and injuries. And now we are as healthy as we're going to be. We are genuinely rolling. Literally, the last half of the season, we're winning at a 54 win pace. I'm feeling good. Honestly, it's so crazy. Like literally, this is developed as we've been recording. I'm feeling good. D'Lo has had his best offensive season of his entire career, best season period. I'm gonna say. I don't care about the All Star year. Good for him for that. But he's been incredible. Rui has really hit his stride. But yeah, okay. I don't have to go over every single player like that. So we've talked about kind of general personnel. Are there like what do you want to see in terms of like action on the court or how we attack? Like what would game one they come out first couple possessions? What do you want to see? What's something that would make you hopeful about this series?
I want to see them come out aggressive. I want to see them get Rui going. I want to see them get AD going. I don't want to see a half-assed AD post up just to so AD can score, or a half-assed LeBron three. I want them to come out aggressive, and we both agree on this. I think Rui's almost the key. He's almost the key. If Rui gets going, that's huge for us. And I think if you come out aggressive, you run pick and rolls, you get downhill. If LeBron comes out and says, "Gordon, my foot's healed this time. Watch out. I'm the greatest freaking player to ever play this game." If you come out aggressive, you come up downhill, and you make Murray have to defend, you make Jokic have to defend. That opens up so much the rest of the game, to where D'Lo is not feeling the pressure, Reeves isn't feeling the pressure to create everything, but they'll get open looks off of that
Yeah.
because it's different. There's no Vanderbilt. There's no please, for the love of God, there won't be Reddish. There won't be these poor shooters, and the floor is gonna be wide open. And when the floor is wide open, when Gordon and these guys playing help defense, they can't just completely leave their man. It leaves Murray and Jokic down the middle for a pick and roll. So I'll just get into that immediately.
Yeah.
I think they can be very effective with this pick and roll with LeBron or D'Lo as the ball handler, obviously AD as a screen setter, because Jokic is actually like I like watching him play defense. He's not just some black hole, but he's obviously not quick. So watching the film, he kind of plays it two ways. Either he'll show high, but they won't switch. It's kind of like a hedge.
Yeah.
And if Gordon will be guarding LeBron, so Gordon will be at the hip, and Jokic will show high and hedge. That leaves AD wide open for LeBron's one of the greatest passers ever. It's not an easy pass, but if he makes that bounce pass, then you have AD, one defender who's helping, and the basket. So he's gonna come up to help AD, and it's gonna be either probably Rui in the corner, or Reeves, or D'Lo, or anyone, or Rui can flash. We saw that so much where the help side defender has to come up to stop AD, and Rui just dives. Get into that. I need to see that in the fourth quarter, because we both obviously agree. I think Laker Nation will agree. The fourth quarter is big. Murray and Jokic would just dominate us. They get rolling in the fourth quarter. They run that two-man game. We need to do the same. We can't settle in the fourth quarter for LeBron taking step back threes after trying to switch hunt for 20 seconds, or they double him last second when there's 5 seconds on the clock. So you pass it to Reeves and then pass it to Prince, and we barely get the shot off.
Yeah.
Don't settle. Be aggressive. Run that pick and roll, because the other way they can play it is Jokic will drop, and they won't switch. Gordon will be on LeBron, and that leaves a wide open mid range for AD, because Jokic is dropping and he can't cover. He can't get to AD that quick. And if he does, pump fake and buy you. There's. I know I'm focusing on one play, and it's kind of weird, but I feel so confident about that. And it was effective last year, but we
Yeah.
couldn't do it every time, because what I'm saying right now is when those guys can help it. If they ran that pick and roll last year, Gordon just comes and blows it up because he can leave Schroeder, he can leave Vando. These guys weren't important. You can't leave Rui, you can't leave Reeves, you can't leave D'Lo.
Yeah.
So
No, you could.
for
They were
our
leaving
offensive
LeBron.
succeed,
Sorry to interrupt. They left
yeah,
LeBron
yeah,
too. Like
that's true.
they left everybody. So yeah. Sorry. Continue. Just, that's a big thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Also, that we weren't shooting well, and also D'Lo can also be the primary ball handler there. For him, he's got to be careful with turnovers. Don't make any stupid passes. But that mid range is going to be there for him,
Yeah.
and it could if Jokic will drop a lot. If he shows, then like I said, AD will be right there. But as far as D'Lo, they're going to pressure him a little bit. And the crowd's going to be loud. He's just got to be under control and not turn the ball over. So yeah, I think the perfect game plan, I think you start aggressive in the paint with AD, with Rui. We're so physical. We punch him in the mouth. We start off aggressive, which leads to open shots for Reeves and D'Lo. And if they're hitting it, then the Nuggets are in trouble. I'm sorry, because when that starting five is all rolling, it's almost impossible to stop. And if we really do perform like that against the Nuggets, I will say it's impossible to stop, because I don't know who else would stop that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know I went on a long rant. I feel very confident about that pick and roll. And for the love of God, please don't settle in the fourth quarter, because that's the key to me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I I fully agree. It's why I let you rock. I It's difficult to understate how much better the personnel is, and I know literally we just talked about it, but as I keep going through,
Mm.
we had five and a half playable guys last year. That's probably an over exaggeration, to be honest. We had three and a half. LeBron, AD, Rui, and Austin. Okay, I'll say four. Dennis was bad. D'Lo was deep. I mean, we know. Vando couldn't really play, and that was it. Like Lonnie Walker played all four games. He wasn't good in them, and that was it. And now, so we think about we still have our starting five. All of the players are better this year from last year. LeBron is healthy. Probably honestly might be the most overlooked thing of the entire thing from anybody in national media, fans talking about it. They don't, and it's difficult to understand how hurt a foot is, especially when you're playing every day. And it is what it is. But it's just it's night and day. The shot's better, foot's better. Two biggest things.
So sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to
No,
cut you.
go
I'll
go
let you
go.
go just real quick. That was to me that was the biggest thing about our fourth quarter struggles was LeBron wasn't healthy because it was so important for so many reasons because Aaron Gordon's a really tough matchup on a bum foot. He's not going to be able to attack, and I think everything in the fourth quarter is going to be based off LeBron attacking and not settling. And with the bum foot, he wasn't shooting well, so it's just that to me was the biggest reason we sucked in the fourth quarter last year. And him just being healthy just not fixes that, but that helps out automatically. But
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, keep going, bro.
No, yeah. It's just like so we have those five, but now we have one of Gabe Vincent or Spencer Dinwiddie. I say one of because I don't want to be greedy and I hope both of them can be good. Because if both of them are on a hot streak shooting wise, we're gonna win the series. Because they're so helpful on defense that if we can play with a bigger, better defender or a smaller but like way better defender with Gabe Vincent. Anyway, we'll get into that later. But yeah, so we have one good backup point guard, and I'm doing a little hopium here. I'm hoping that one of them will be good. It's very possible that both of them are on a cold shooting streak, and then we're kind of screwed. But anyway, so we have them, and then we have Torian Prince, and I know everyone hates him. He's the new Dennis Schroeder for some reason because he played over a guy, and was still fine. Regardless, I won't get into that now. He's settled into his role incredibly well. Den Torian Prince can be an X factor, and frankly, Jackson Hayes can be too. LeBron was the backup center last year. Jackson Hayes is not going to get more than even one shift a game. But if you can play those minutes where AD is off the court, like Hayes genuinely will get like 8 minutes at most a game. But if it's four when AD's sitting, four when AD's sitting, and you can play to a standstill, or his energy can change some stuff up, get a couple dunks, and open the floor up, like that, every single second counts in the playoffs. And now you have guys like Torian, like one of the two guards on the bench, like Jackson Hayes, that can give you an advantage in a very small area. And it might feel small, it might feel too specific, but there's nothing too small in the playoffs. If Torian Prince, if we're struggling a little bit and AD goes to the Torian Prince handoff series and Prince can actually get to the basket, which is something that nobody could do last year. And we've seen Prince have big games, or one big game because he didn't play in the second one, or in one of them, against the Nuggets. Like, he can be effective. He was good again against the Pels when we needed him. He's just a professional player. Like, all of these guys have genuine attributes that are active pluses to the offense, and it makes things so much easier to think about. Last year, honestly, looking at who we had playing last year, and Troy Brown being unplayable, Malik Beasley being unplayable, Vando not really getting a chance to play, but then when he played, he wasn't great. D'Lo being horrible. Like, the options were so limited. And now we have Reeves and Rui having an extra year to take a step. Rui kind of has taken like a legitimate leap in the way he's playing and the style of just the effort he gives on the court. To be honest, he looks so much better. D'Angelo just had the greatest offensive season of his career. I don't. It's hard to not feel good. It's just the reality of the last 7 games we played against them with this kind of iteration of this team, and I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot of positive, and then it kind of always
And,
just brings you back down. But what do you got? What do you got?
And we were in every single game last year.
Yeah.
Every single. And the funny part about this is recording these videos. I don't know if you agree with me. When we deep dive into stats and personnel in terms of like how to defend, how we're going to score in these, I'm just getting more and more optimistic. And it's like when actually breaking down the basketball side of this, and it's just making me think. I mean, we were in every single game with like 4 to 5 playable players, with LeBron who wasn't healthy, and now the Nuggets have gotten worse. We've gotten just so much better, and we're playing them earlier in the postseason, which is very important. And I mean, imagine if Vincent just goes on a heater. His shot looked good in the play-in. I mean, I don't know, only took 4 threes. I this There's so much to be optimistic about, but if we're in the game the whole time and the Nuggets go on a 10-0 run in the fourth quarter, I'm gonna break something because we're getting more optimistic, but losing will hurt just so much more. But yeah, to me, God, that fourth quarter of this game one is gonna mean so much.
Yeah.
Like it is going to. I honestly really agree with you. If we win that game one, we win the series. In my opinion, I think if we win the series, we win the finals. I don't really care. But the other thing we're talking about offense. The other thing I think that's very important is to point out is the scoring droughts.
Yeah.
And when I talked about when I just brought up the fourth quarter, I just immediately thought of Jokic hits a crazy three, Murray hits a crazy three. We're on a 3-minute scoring drought. It's 32-18 in the first. That cannot happen. We can't fall behind like that. And so the scoring drought has just been God, it's been haunting us for a while, I feel like. And I'll talk about the playing game because what I noticed, we came out pretty good. It was a close back and forth game. AD missed a gimme floater, then LeBron missed a gimme layup, then AD missed a put back on that layup. Then we just settled. After that sequence happened, LeBron subbed out, and it was just three, 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 brick, 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 3-minute scoring drought. That cannot happen. We
Yeah.
got to stop doing that. I feel like the theme that we keep talking about is settling. We can't settle. We got to. We are. These are the two most physical teams in basketball, the Lakers and Nuggets. So
Yeah.
if the Nuggets are out of the picture, it's the most physical team in basketball. We can't settle for these stupid shots. We got to be aggressive. We got to get through it. And then, God, it drives me insane when people are like, He's supposed to be a superstar. He's supposed to be a superstar. Well, is it his fault that D'Lo's shooting a three off his back foot with 19 seconds left in the shot clock? I mean, I don't understand it. So yeah, the scoring droughts is something that I'm going to be looking after. How do you feel about those? Do you think there's a theme of why those happen so frequently, or when they happen? Like, why is that? Do you think?
It's my personal thought is that it kind of comes with pressure. It's just their offense is so predicated on their defense being good enough to get them in transition. I mean, they're top 5 in pace this year, which is literally just how many possessions you have in a game. They run so much. They're quick and they're fast. And when that's not just like full transition, even it's like semi transition or just getting it out of the basket quick. The reason that scoring droughts happen, to me at least, is because they slow down and they're up by 20 or they're up by 15 in the middle of the third quarter. And they're like, okay, let's take some time off the clock. And I hate that. Honestly, they, they their half court offense, well, it's fine. And I don't know the actual stats for this. There's plenty of efficiency accounts that like posting about that. But they don't operate well when you need to be methodical, which I think is a massive problem, and it's the reason why our fourth quarter offense has been so bad. Like, so it's kind of in conjunction that way. But they need to not slow down in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. It's impossible not to slow down, so that's a different thing. But in the third quarter, if you're going well, don't be afraid to take a shot early in the shot clock. I know you just said D'Lo rear foot, back legged, like toss up, whatever, and it's true. I do agree. You can't like
Yeah,
be
that's
smart
different.
about it, but you don't have to like, hey, okay, hold up. We're at 18 seconds. Let's stop for a little bit. And I know it's difficult because that's kind of how you start runs for the other team by taking a lot of early shots. But the other way you start runs for the other team is by not scoring ever. And it happens so much because someone's slowing the offense down and we're LeBron's in a 15-second post up again and they stop doing the off-ball action and Rui cuts but LeBron doesn't hit him and he takes a fadeaway. And then we pass the ball across, run and pick and roll doesn't work. Pass the ball across, run and pick and roll doesn't work. Pass it to D'Lo, shoots three, misses. It's a brick. They hit 2 threes in a row in 10 seconds, and the game's back in hand. Can't do it. Just can't do that. We cannot have that. And also, this is something I wanted to point out. I was looking this up. Um, we talk about going from that kind of negative thing, which is very real and a very legitimate issue for this team. But we were talking about it, and you were mentioning how hopeful every time we look into it, like it's increasing your optimism. I went like I went to look up since Rui became a starter around that time frame, at least the last 30 games. Lot of big sample size for an NBA season. Starting five: Rui Hachimura averaging 60.8, basically 17 points a game. D'Lo 19.7, basically 20 points a game. Anthony Davis 25 points rounded up. LeBron 26 points. Austin Reeves 16 points. That's five guys averaging 15 plus with two guys in the mid 20s. That is unreal basketball. That's unreal scoring efficiency. It's the ceiling for this offense. Clear. Honestly, if I can be, I think the floor, like the baseline for this offense, not the floor, because the floor can be bad. The average of this offense is higher than the ceiling from last year's team's offense, and we have all the same players. It just everything feels so much better. Everything's working so much better. Rui is a better player. D'Lo is the best he's ever been in his career. There's so much to look forward to, and it's like I kind of been saying it's a back and forth. It's me thinking about it and genuinely believing that they can win this, and then it's also just thinking about like they still have to win game one on the road. Like it's so important to everything because at the drop of a hat, everything can kind of switch. But yeah, they just need to. So I'm gonna make a point and then swing it back to you for your thoughts. Um, Kind of just completely skipping what I was just saying, like leaving that alone. I think in order to maintain this scoring, this kind of offensive like ceiling, this output, they need to attack specific players. They need to attack Jamal Murray specifically. They need to attack KCP specifically. Like Rui is a genuine matchup buster to have as a third option guy because if you're putting Aaron Gordon on Rui, honestly, okay, setting big long term goals for the series, force the Nuggets to have to change Rui's matchup. I need Rui to be cooking Jamal and KCP so much and getting him into those opportunities to cook them and finding those matchups that Aaron Gordon or MPJ has to. MPJ is probably going to start on him, but like, make Aaron Gordon guard you, Rui. Just make him guard you. That's all I gotta say. Make him guard you for a couple possessions. Let LeBron cook. Like, change it up. We have to make them adjust. The play has to make Mike Malone adjust the defense at all. Because if they can just run the same, like kind of help whatever, and we're not really doing anything to impact them, it's just not gonna work. We have to make them adjust. Like we saw the Pelicans completely switched. They changed their center rotation and they changed the way they play defense from the last game of the season to the play-in game, and it worked a little bit. AD getting hurt didn't help, but like they actively changed their coverages in the pick and roll, and it opened up things for D'Lo, who went crazy. Like it opens things up for other people. So Rui is probably the most influential factor. Well, tied with D'Lo, and then also tied with Reeves. I don't know, a lot of X factors, but need to see that. Sorry, take that anywhere you
Yeah,
want, man.
yeah. All these things, just all these factors open up. That's my favorite part about this team is it just opens things up for the other players. But yeah, you mentioned a lot of stuff about like how good we can be and how good this offense can be. And then, but before that, we're mentioning the scoring droughts and what goes wrong. I think it's all about settling. It's like you're doing yourself a disservice if you're settling and you're getting into your stuff late. You mentioned like the taking shots early in the shot clock. I agree. It's about getting into your stuff early and playing fast because we're the more athletic team probably against any team we're going to face. So get into the stuff fast. Don't settle because when you get into it fast, you put pressure on Murray, you put pressure on Porter and all these guys. But it opens up the cuts for Rui. It opens up all these things because when you get into it fast, when you're aggressive, it's it's just if you dribble the first 14 seconds, all the guys defending the off ball guys are just resting there, and like, do you think a Rui dive is going to be effective there? No, you got to be fast. You got to get into it,
Yeah.
and there's no excuse. You have all these ball handlers. You can't settle. We're so good. We're such a fast paced team. We're so good at that. Just be consistent with it. Every single scoring drought is like we play slow and we take stupid shots. That's happened all the times, and you can't afford that when the Nuggets can score 12 points in like 30 seconds. But I like what you said about make them change the matchup. We didn't do that last year. This year we legitimately can not even can. We're likely to pose a matchup problem for them. And I think I agree 100%. I think that has to be Rui.
Yeah.
Because you have your match. They love that they love having Aaron Gordon for LeBron, and then obviously the Jokic AD matchup.
Yeah.
From there, they could just Porter Jr. take a rest, stick with Vando, stick with Schroeder, stick whatever. Because D'Lo wasn't playing, D'Lo was awful. You guys take a rest. No, make that a matchup problem. Michael Porter Jr. is not a good defender. Rui can take him 10 times out of 10 times. Now I'm not saying post up Rui, but get Rui looks. Get these guys going. Get the other guys like as like we talked about with Shaq. The other guys get Rui. Get these guys going. So you have to worry about them. Then that frees up LeBron. That frees up AD. And then you're just my God. If Prince start or not Prince will hit shots. If Vincent starts hitting shots, Prince is so key off the bench. It's so underrated.
Yeah.
For the scoring he provides, not just shooting, but his ability to attack the perimeter. That's another thing that that we can open up stuff for Prince. We are just so much better offensively, but God, you got to get into your sets fast. Get into the sets fast. Don't dribble. Don't waste possessions because we're gonna need every single one of those against Denver.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rui. I think I mean, we both love Rui, but it's not like he can score 20 points a game in this series, and that's not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
He he is he's the matchup problem for them because you got to worry about LeBron and AD, and then you have this 6'8" guy who's incredible in the paint, can dribble, can shoot a mid range, and if he shoots like he did last year in the playoffs, I mean it's going to be tough to stop. It's absolutely this offense has such a high ceiling.
Yeah. 100%. I think the overarching, as we wrap it up here, the main idea with all the stuff we've said, at least for me, is force them to play everyone straight up. If you're running pick and roll, force it to be a genuine 2-on-2. It can't be 2-on-2, but Michael Porter Jr. is playing in the dunker spot because Rui's in the corner and he doesn't respect your shot. He got to be everyone on the perimeter, whether it's LeBron playing off ball when Reeves is taking it or vice versa. You have to be shooting well enough or pose enough of a threat to warrant them not helping off of you. Make every single possession where it's a two-man game an actual two-man game. Not a two-man and MPJ and Aaron Gordon have 2 feet in the paint as well. Because that's just a recipe for disaster. But yeah, we're going to be back tomorrow talking about the defense. We have, a lot of thoughts and a couple breakdowns coming on too. It's Laker time. It's playoff time. Got a lot of stuff coming. Hope you stay tuned. Go Lakers.